So hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra Kaye. I'm sorry, I'm freezing right off the top. Please forgive me for that. This stupid internet. Hold on. Let me see. Let me try to readjust here. Let me see if that'll work. No, it hasn't. But anyway. Bear with us, y'all.
It's going. You're
okay,
good.
Cool. So anyway, hello, how y'all doing? Everything like that. Today is the podcast, the Demetra Kaye podcast, where Donovan and I talk about different issues amongst ourselves, so we'll have an opportunity to kind of chop it up and things like that. So today we are going to be talking about relationship stuff. It's really going to be a question and answer type of thing. Like, what would you do type of scenario. As I said on Sunday, we are going to play these card games. It's called Perfect Questions Date Night. I have pre-selected 4 questions out of here. It was kind of random or whatever, but not so much type of thing. But we're going to talk about some TikTok videos that my daughter showed me. And I was like, oh, well, this would be interesting to discuss with Donovan. Again, going along with the whole, what would you do? How would you handle this? What are your thoughts on these certain situations? And so before we get started, Donovan, what say you?
Hey, you guys, welcome to the Demetra Kaye podcast. It is great to have you guys here. If you're sitting in traffic, thank you for tuning in. But if you're at home watching the replays and all that other good stuff, do us a favor, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and even become a member so you can get these great videos that Demetra drops during the week. Awesome information. Midterms are here. A lot of bad candidates, but you know what? You got to vote your interest. So this is going to be an interesting topic. We hope you guys enjoy this. I don't know what is going to go on here. Demetra, barely knows what's going on here, and these are going to be honest reactions. So let's get into it. I'm excited.
Let's go, y'all. All right. So this first video here, I actually saw, and I think I sent this to you, but it'll refresh your memory when you saw it. When you see it, I'm going to put it up, and then I'm going to get Donovan's reaction. And the question after that is, how would you handle this? And I'll go ahead and re-ask the question, but here we go. Right there?
That's good. Hold that. Hold on one second. Let me shoot first. So she ain't looking at both cameras. All right, hold that. Got it. I got here.
What did you see, Donovan?
Did she have her hoo-ha out?
She had her hoo-ha out. I guess I don't even know who it is. I saw it on Twitter, and the dress has a very high sleeve up the side, and she had no panties on at all. And as y'all see, I kind of tried to take the liberty of blurring out her because you could see it,
And she doesn't realize that?
I think she was trying to be cute, and thought maybe she had it handled and didn't really test the dress out to maybe walk in the heels in some distance to see if the dress would shift. So she's on the red carpet wherever she is. Again, I don't know who she is. Maybe y'all do. But her lady part is like, hello, I'm here too. How y'all doing? So the question I have for you, Donovan, is, you're picking this young lady up, okay? She gets in the car, and from what you can see, the dress is cute. It's a little revealing, but you don't see that. So y'all perhaps maybe going to walk into a restaurant, and you see that the dress is doing a lot. What do you do? So tell me your whole opinion on it, and what would you do?
Okay, first of all, I would compliment her on the dress if it's holding together when I first pick her up. But if we're just going to dinner, like you just gave the scenario, I think the dress is a little bit much because we're not going to like a military ball or a gala. So I think she's a little bit overdressed. And then if the dress is doing what I just saw it doing, I would definitely let her know. But then I would also castigate her in a respectful way, like, you don't have any panties on? What's going on here? You know what I mean? And let her know. I mean, okay, a woman is a reflection of the man, and the man is the reflection of the woman. So for me, I'm only speaking for Donovan Saadiq, being a military officer or excellent officer, whatever, my knowledge in the community, I would say that's a bit much. And I would, I think that would be a one date type situation. And I would try to end the date very, very quickly because it's obvious this dress is falling apart and her, you know, and I'm trying to be respectful to her and keep her out of embarrassing situations as a man should. And so I think we should end the date and go back home and, you know, call it a day or have her change at that point.
Very interesting. So I'm going to take it from a woman's point of view. Had that been me, first of all, I wouldn't wear such a dress anywhere. I wouldn't wear a dress like that anywhere. And I think the question that we as women, because and I'm not telling women not to be sexy. I'm not even telling you what to wear, but let's just put it all on me so I don't offend anybody's apparel choice, if you will. Had it been me, I wouldn't have worn the dress anywhere simply because I had to ask myself, well, how sexy is too sexy? Or like what's enough? What is too much? And I also have to ask myself as a woman, what am I trying to cover up? Now get this. What am I trying to cover up by showing so much? You know what I mean? Because it's like, I feel like for me personally, if I was to wear something like that, I think I would be lacking something internally that I feel like I have to put my whole body on display. Now, I would say she probably didn't really mean to show her stuff, but the dress was already revealing. And to me, I wouldn't have gone out in public without any underwear on with something so risque. If I had to wear that dress somewhere, I don't know where she was at. Maybe I would have worn maybe like some sort of shorts to kind of match it. I don't know. I'm just saying that she had to wear that. But I just think as ladies, and there's a difference between you being a woman and you being a lady. Because biologically speaking, we are women. But your behavior makes you a woman, a lady or not. And so as ladies, I think we really have to say, especially if it was a first date type of scenario, do I want him to see me for what I'm showing him? Because in the words of my grandmother, she says, ladies, she said this to my auntie when she was like 17 or so. She says, if you use meat to catch a man, you're going to wind up with a dog. So if I'm out there in public with all that going on and I'm trying on a first date, I'm like, do I want this to be long term or do I want it to be short term? Like, what is my goal here? Do I really need to be that sexy? Maybe out on the first date or anywhere? Like, why do I need to show all of that? And first of all, if it's a first date, I don't even know this man enough to even want him to see that part of me. I want him to get to know me. I want to get to know him. He shouldn't even be seeing, you know, what I have under there or anything. And so I just think that we need to, especially as women, we need to be about the business of being ladylike. That's not ladylike. I don't know if she has friends or her mom or somebody saw that, but had that been my daughter, I'd be like, girl, hell no. What are you trying to do here? And admittedly, you know, my daughter, she doesn't dress like that, but like if she's going on first dates or something like that and maybe she had on something, I said, well, it's cute. But what are you trying to convey to him? And then she would rethink it and say, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. What are you trying to say to him about you on this first date? Do you want him to get to know you from the neck up? Or do you want him to get to know you from the neck down?
Absolutely. You know, that kind of reminds me of what was that Tyler Perry movie where grandpa was filming the girl getting the ice in the ice bucket and stuff. And Cicely Tyson, whatever her character was like seeing the young girls acting a certain way. And the older women were kind of appalled, you know, because it was like, you're not conducting yourself like you said, as ladies. And it's just really good. And then you definitely would see what type of man you're dealing with that would be acceptable to that aspect. Like I said, for me, I would have to just cut the date off short and just say, you know, this is not, because you're a reflection of me. If I bring you out there and your hoo-ha's out there and, you know, and I know everybody makes excuses for the Ray Rays and Pookies, but then again, this goes back to what type of man are you ladies or women, not ladies, you women selecting out there, you know? Yes, the fathers aren't there, but at the end of the day, how is it everybody's fault that you don't ask enough questions or look at a man to a standard to what he's supposed to do? Because let me reverse that real quick. sometimes, and I notice this, you'll see a girl, let's say I go to the Mission Inn, and I'm going to have dinner at the Mission Inn, which is a very upscale hotel here in Riverside, California, stuff like that. Hotel resort, really nice, historic. I see these girls in beautiful dresses, really dressed up. And then you look at the men and they have on what? Sagging pants, wife beaters, or a t-shirt. And you're looking like she went all out to dress very, very nice and looking like a beautiful lady, model type. And she's coming here with the guy that is just like he just woke up, threw on something and came on out. You know, so I always wonder that. Have you ever saw that?
And that's what I was going to ask you, Donovan, because it's funny. I was having a conversation with somebody about that not too long ago in regards to a lot of men nowadays not dressing up. Like you see a 40, 50-year-old man wearing a t-shirt and some shorts and some Jordans or Nikes or whatever. And it's like, as a woman, because like when I go out, I don't care if it's to a movie or whatever the case is, depending on the weather, I'm going to have on me some heels or, you know, a nice sweater or jacket or some boots or some jeans. I'm going to be cute. You know what I mean? And so nowadays, I would run the risk of going out on a date or wherever with a man who's just like, look like he's like, well, let me get those shorts and the t-shirt. But it's like, what happened to the days of men? Since you brought up, what happened to the days of men? Because we just talked to this lady to task for showing her whole kitty cat inappropriately. But what happened to the men that say, I'm going out with a young lady, wherever we're going, let me at least put up a button-up shirt or some nice jeans, you know, and some dress shoes or something. But let me look like I tried. But it's like nowadays it's hard to differentiate the men from the boys. And when we say boys, we're talking about the high schoolers or the, you know, teenagers or 20-year-olds that will walk around with shorts and a t-shirt on. What happened to the men that didn't mind putting on a little smell good, a button-up shirt, they nice and shaved, and you know, like, damn, boo, you look good. You know what I'm saying? What happened to the men out there that could do it? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, a good smelling man, ooh. What happened, Donovan?
Oh man, again, we've raised two generations of young men that have been raised without their fathers to not show them what not to do. Now, here's the thing, like today, I'm going on dinner with a young lady that I met today in Palm Springs, right? Now, notice, I'm not going to get all geared up, but I used to tell my son, if you're going out with a date with a young woman, the least you can do is put on a collared shirt. If you're not going to put on a collared shirt and it's a button thing, you should at least have a sports jacket on. Something, you know, something of that nature, because what's the first and most important thing when you meet a person? First impression.
That, and you know, like you said, you know, act like you put some effort into it. Me and my good friend, we have this saying, we like men that look like citizens. And when we say citizens, a man that looked like he cared to get his hair cut, he smelled good, he took the time to maybe iron his shirt, put on some pants. You know, we from California, so you know we crease our pants out there. That you're right, you know, but and shine your shoes up, and you look like you cared, right? That way, if I'm going out with you, I'm like, damn, he look, oh God, he fine. Instead of, he remind me of my teenage nephew.
Right. Or you know, because and I hear this from a lot of the young girls nowadays. When you see a guy that dresses up like that, he's considered a square. Oh, he's not roughneck. You know, he's not tough enough. You know what I mean? You get that and you're like, what? That's the guy that might have a good job and, you know, and stable.
I love a man that can match my energy. Now, when I say energy, I'm talking about, you know, as far as dress. Now, of course, I don't dress in a ball gown when I go out, but shit, I'm cute. You know what I mean? I love a man that can match the energy, pick me up, and like, damn, okay, you tried today. You got on a nice Christian. I love that. You know what I mean? But it's like, we going out, look like I took the time, and you look like you just got through running ball at the gym some doggone way. You know, I was like, eh.
But then in a lot of people's defense, Demetra, you have a father that dressed up no matter what. Demetra's dad would be almost in a full-blown suit with some Stacey Adams shoes cutting grass. Okay, cutting grass.
You know, and he FOY too, and so you know they're about looking presentable everywhere you go, and so it's like, I don't know, but maybe, you know, gentlemen, if that's you out there, and I hope that is not. And that's one thing I'm gonna say about Kevin Samuels. I know Kevin Samuels is a sore subject amongst a lot of people, but one thing that
amongst a lot of women.
Yeah, one thing I really hate among him not being here, just because it's sad. But the one thing that I hate about him not being here, another thing that I hate about him not being here is because he was getting on y'all behinds about being presentable, some smell good, some look. I love that he was teaching y'all, again, basically said the stuff that your father should have been teaching you, but just the basics. Wash your ass. You know, there's a lot of men who ain't gonna wash their ass every day. They ain't gonna wash it every other day. They might wash it once a week. And it's like, first of all, boo-boo, you ain't getting in no bed with me like that, okay? And I know that was a little bit too much.
Yeah, you know, and a sidebar real quick. I always often look at some people, or if I check their mannerisms, and I always like me, I shower at night before I get into bed. And the reason I do that is the fact that I've been working all day or whatever I'm doing, I'm sweating and stuff. So getting in my bed, I'm bringing all those oils in the bed, which would soil the linen, you know, even more because you sweat even at night when you're sleeping, right? And so sometimes, you know, I kind of observe people, how they, you know, how their grooming standards are. I think that's very important, even in relationships, and don't get me wrong, there are certain situations you're so tired, you go to sleep and you just stay asleep and you got to get up in the morning. That's fine. But yeah, you're right. Grooming standards and stuff, it seems, especially for the men. Well, then again, the women are kind of falling off too. But the men, wash your ass.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people, I can do both. I'm just always been one of those people, I can't get in clothes and not take a shower. That's just me. So, but I can do both. I can do one at night, and I can do one in the day. I mean, especially if it's hot. But anyway, let's move on to this other subject. So I'll basically leave off by saying about that lady that was dressed like that. Ladies, if you're going out on a date or anywhere with a man or anywhere, ask yourself, do you want to have a conversation about you from the neck up, or do you want him to have a conversation about you from the neck down? I think that's a good way to put it. Okay, so this next scenario, I forget really all the dynamics of it, but I'm interested in being caught off guard just as well. So Donovan, you ready for this? Go.
Focus. What do you want a woman to depend on you for?
To provide
what?
Emotional support.
Emotional
protection.
Emotional. You say all women are stupid. Half the time you're talking about women are stupid. You don't respect them. How the can we depend on you for anything emotional? Tell me.
Do you want me to answer the question, or do you want to argue?
Go.
Because this is one of the problems
Go.
of independent woman.
Tell me.
Woman wants to
Tell me.
spew her trauma out on the table and expect somebody
Common.
let him go.
Go ahead.
You help a woman get through life. A woman needs a man to help lead her.
Give me an example of how you would help me get through life.
There you go.
By listening to you.
Whoa.
You know what?
I'm myself, bro. Sort me out.
Okay.
So as you saw there, that was actually the podcast of the game that Donovan and I are going to play. And so the question is, what do men do that women need to depend on them for? I think that was the question, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Donovan, you want to take that?
Okay, you need us to have the babies. You need us to build the society. You need us to change your oil in your car. I mean, I can go on and on and on. You need our leadership in regards to, getting through certain things and advice and, and companionship. And then the number one thing, you need us for protection. Protection. It's always been that way. I sometimes look at these young girls and they're talking about this independent stuff, whatever, and that's fine. There's an independence. Okay, Demetra is very independent, but she's independent in a way to where she also knows her role if she was with a man. You know what I mean? But a lot of women out there, in my opinion, have taken this independent stuff on a totally different level. And then you guys have the nerve to be upset when we don't want to defend you, or why would I defend a woman I don't even know? But you expect me to do it if you were getting beat up out there or assaulted by a white man. You expect me as a total stranger to just defend you. Black women need to be defended. But at the same time, you're from the side of your neck, you're saying, we don't need nobody. We don't need no man. And that's always been the problem. But as regard what you need from a man, you need us to have babies. You need us, number one, for protection, to have babies and to build the society. It's as simple that there ain't no women out there going in sewers and redoing the sewers. As a whole, there are no women constructing cities. These are things that men do. You know, when your car is broken, there's not a lot of women out there fixing cars and doing all that other stuff. And, you know, these are just facts because women don't aspire to be in those positions on a whole. Are there some women that do it? Yes, absolutely. But as a whole, that's what men do. You don't see a bunch of women signing up to go into the military. Are there some? Yes. But you don't see them doing it as a whole because that's why women aren't being drafted. So you need men for a whole plethora of things.
Well, I mean, I think that's a very good list of things but I'm going to have to push back a little bit because the question is, what do we need y'all for? I guess that's kind of the question. And all the things that you listed, we actually can do really without you. Now, having a baby, we need the sperm, but we don't need now. I want to like really build on what I'm saying because I know somebody's like Demetra tripping. What I'm saying is all the things that you listed is women can do that without a man, right? Now,
right, and the cities would be crappy, falling apart, and all the other good stuff.
That is not true at all. There's been plenty of women who are architects and who are able to build things and construct things. My daughter can fix her car and has fixed her car, right. You know, by herself and, you know, with the help of another woman, if you will. So those things can be done without the help of a man. But I think the real question is, as far as women being independent, maybe not the real question, but one of the questions is, why does a woman, and I'm going to reduce it all the way down to Black women, why do Black women feel like they need to be independent and I can do it without a man?
Because they've been listening to their bitter baby mamas and their aunts who have bad relationships that have told them that men ain't shit. One of the worst movies ever made was the movie The Color Purple. Now every Black man is a mister and whatever like that, because I talk to young women all the time when they talk about, oh, Black men ain't shit, whatever, right? And I'm not talking about these women that pick the Ray Rays and Pookies. Let's say it's a successful young Black girl that's doing everything. She's got an education. She's got a great job. But for some reason, she's bitter. So I would go to the young girl and I would say, have you ever been in an abusive relationship? No. Has a man ever done a certain thing to you? No. Then why do you have this vitriol toward men? Oh, I don't know. Because you've been indoctrinated by your bitter elders, female elders, telling you men ain't this, men ain't that, men ain't this. If you haven't, I'm not saying that, and God forbid if you have to go through something like that in an abusive relationship. I don't want you to go through an abusive relationship. But the point is, how can you say men or whatever is bad and you've never been in a bad relationship? And I remember the young girl, you can see the light bulb lit on in her head, like, yeah, I'm saying that, but I don't really know why I'm saying it.
So I think too, when we're talking the things that you listed as well, you're talking about capabilities as far as building and having a child or, you know, taking care of a child, I guess. You also said, you know, protection. Hell, you know, give me the right type of weapon or whatever. I could protect myself. You know, I mean, with some grits, I guess I could if I had to be. But those are capabilities. But why is it? Let me ask you this. Why is it that neither the man or the woman rarely just come together and say, I don't really need you to do those things, but I need companionship. Companionship, like those, it's a capability, but it's also like we're both serving a function for each other. I need companionship because I'll keep it real with you. All those things that you listed, I could do by myself, right? Of course, I probably need a turkey baster for one of them, but I could do those things by myself. But whenever I think of a man, being with a man, I never think of, oh, well, you know, it'd be good to have a man to fix my tire, change my tires and fix my oil and do some stuff around the house. I don't think about a man in those terms. When I think about a man, I think about a man being with a man. I'll be honest with you. I say this every Sunday. You can ask my daughter, man, I would love to be with a man in a convertible, old school on Sundays, taking a long drive, listening to Art LeBeau, R.I.P. You know, some oldies or something. Just me and my boo. Like we just hanging out. Like I don't see men in terms of what I need you to do for me. I just want a man to be there. We can grow old together. We can do things and discuss world affairs and all of that stuff. So why don't we ever just say, I don't need you for those things, but I need you for companionship?
Sure, I agree with you. In the modern age, women don't need men in the aspect of what has already historically what women need men for, but still, you can go back thousands of years. Men still build, men still do things. The aspect that you don't need a man, yes, you still need a man to have a baby. Even if you have to get a turkey baster to do it, you need the man to produce the sperm. So, and I know we're not an absolutist. I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but the fact of the matter, to say you don't need a man in any capacity, that's just not true. Just like men can't say we don't need women in any capacity, because technically, it's been proven.
What do you need women
for sexual gratification, to raise our children.
Could you achieve sexual gratification by yourself?
Absolutely.
Could you raise a child by yourself?
Absolutely.
So how much of a need is it?
Well, there isn't much of a need, but men and women weren't put on this earth to be islands unto themselves.
So it boils down to what then?
Companionship, right? There was a episode of The Twilight Zone. Remember, it starred Jack Warner, whatever his name is. It was called The Lonely. Yeah, remember? And they sent the robot to him, and he thought eventually he's with her so long, they thought the robot was real and stuff like that because he was lonely. So our nature as human beings is the desire to have a companion. Thus, you have same-sex couples that are together. And I know some people try to think of like, well, how do they have sex? It isn't always about the sex. It's about the companionship. Correct? But it has been proven that men can live alone without women more so than women could go without men. Did you see what I'm saying? In the aspect that we don't have as much of a need of things as women do, because we're just two different separate creatures. But in regards to the modern age of young or women nowadays, technically, no, they don't need us to do this. But the fact of the matter is the foundation of civilization has been established to be men that have built that foundation.
Again, though, it's not that women can't do it.
I'm not saying that. Didn't I always clarify again that there are some women that do it? You can't be absolute.
It's about capabilities. I
right.
mean, my daughter and I have installed windows and a whole bunch.
And I had to come back and correct the whole damn thing. Right. It was leaking, and all. Right. We didn't put the seal in it.
We installed 2 windows that were broken. And a whole host of other stuff, and it's just like you figure it out. I mean, so again, we didn't need a man to do that, but you just figure it out. So again, I think it really it boils down to companionship. All right, so keep it in that same line of tonight's conversation, and this is actually date night questions, and I guess it's the same thing as they were doing. I'm going to start with the first question. I'm going to shuffle.
Oh, and by the way, did you notice how angry that black woman was when the man was trying to talk to her? Very mannish. She came off very mannish. She came off very mannish. Couldn't even have a conversation.
That's the thing. I think that's a punch below the belt, simply because I think y'all men in this new era, and even men back in the day, y'all need to get used to women having an opinion. Like I have
no problem with opinion. She was very aggressive in her tone.
Aggressive. She was passionate, and I think yes, she was.
I don't see it that way.
Y'all have this idea of a June Cleaver or a very docile woman that's, yes, oh no, I don't think that's right. Because sometimes, every now and again, some man will come onto my social media and say, oh, she's aggressive, she's masculine. It's like, are you saying that I'm masculine because I'm probably smarter than you? And because I am passionate? Because aggressive is, y'all ain't never once heard me tell Donovan, shut your ass up. You don't be telling me what to do. Now, I might have done that
after the show.
Never. But y'all don't see me talking to Donovan like that. I don't talk to men like that. Shut your ass up. You don't tell me what to do. No, because I was not raised that way. But I think there's a difference between and obviously they're playing the game. So yeah, there's going to be some heat, some aggression to some degree, but I think it was friendliness, friendly, banter between the both of them. But y'all, a lot of times I'm gonna say this about you men, y'all discount a good woman because y'all go along with those false ideas that a woman should be just jiggling and giggling, and she don't have no pushback. But the minister say, shoot, how would you know you a man if you don't have a woman to prove that? Y'all got to get past the idea that the woman should be soft as cotton and let y'all do and say anything to her. He told a story about when him and Mother Khadijah first got together. He said he lost his mind and thought he was going to pop his wife. He slapped her, and he said it was the last time he did it because she put fire back on him. He said he felt sorry. He never did it again. He says, but he came off as a younger man thinking this is how I was going to get control of my woman. And he said, yeah, she reared back and slapped the hell right back out of me. So the point that I'm making is y'all need to get used to a man, to a woman having some sort of some passion. And why would you want to? I never understood a man who would be with a woman that, and I can tell you a real quick story, and then I'll give it to you, and then I'm going to get to these cars. When I first started working at Frito-Lay as a 23-year-old young woman, there was this gentleman. I ain't even gonna say he's a gentleman. He was a douche. He was married. They called him Deacon Al. That was his name, Deacon Al. And he would always come up to me trying to get with me. Oh, let me take you out and this, that, and the other. I'm like, you're married, aren't you? Oh, yeah, but And so when I saw his wife, just the sweet deaconess, very soft, so well mild-mannered, and I felt so bad for her. Because I was like, he is literally trying to get in my 23-year-old pants. And yet you got this nice, sweet woman at home. And I was thinking she ought to heat up a pot of grits for his ass. Maybe not physically, but just put a little bass in her voice. And so I'm not saying that was a good reason for him to do that, but it's like, y'all don't really want that either. You know what? He got a woman, from what I could see, that was sweet and nice. But then, and I'm sweet and nice. I'm really green as anything because I'm 23. But yet you got that at home. But yet you trying to get in my pants. So it's like.
Well, what I'm saying in regards to that young lady. Okay, when you're having a conversation, and we know games get heated, but it's not like when everybody gets escalated like that. Nobody's listening at that point. Notice the man was sitting and trying to get his point across, and she was interacting. I'm just saying from what I saw. I didn't see the whole clip. But the point is, that's not a way to communicate when you're doing that. You know how to communicate. I know how to communicate. You got to listen before you respond and give that person the chance to respond. So, no man, if another man talked to me like that, it gets heated and it gets more aggressive. It gets more heated up. And that's what we're saying. No man's going to talk to me in a way that is aggressive like that.
But I don't know if you noticed the man next to him, he didn't have a problem with it. He was telling the lady, I got you, because like, would it make a difference that the man wasn't interrupting, but he was full of shit? He wasn't saying anything. He was, skirting the question and, all of that. And so it's like you're looking at how she's behaving, quote unquote, but not listening to what he's saying. And she was basically like, no, answer the question. This is a question I'm imagining he asked, but you couldn't even answer the question.
Right. But when he tried to answer the question, she kept cutting him out because she kept talking. That's what I saw. That's why he was like, sit down, let me answer the question. Let me answer the question. And she kept talking. But anyway, moving on.
Moving right along. So I got 4 cards and I skimmed over them briefly. So I'm not really quite sure all that the cards say. And I'm shuffling as I am talking. And you guys, if you are here, if y'all could please hit the Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, like the video, subscribe, or all that good stuff. We love and appreciate you. Become a member. We love to have you here. All right, so here we go. I'm going to pull a card. Now, it doesn't matter who answers it first. Donna, if you don't feel comfortable asking the answer, I'll go first. Do you feel like people should only date their equal? If so, describe your equal. If not, explain.
No. Fact of the matter is, men always date down. Because usually when a man meets a woman that's on his level, then there's a competition that kind of, in some cases, that kind of ensues. Men always date down, and let me paraphrase that. If I see a young, attractive woman working at McDonald's, I can date her. There's no problem with that. You know what I mean? Because men are visual creatures and we like what we see, right? It's very rare, even in Hollywood, that you see like these Hollywood stars dating for men, dating a star that's bigger than them. Look at your like major Black women stars. Halle Berry, she's always dated people that weren't bigger than her. They're like just, they're in the industry, but they're not as big as her. Do you see what I'm saying? So as for that, that's what men would do. Women usually, and you hear it all the time, there's talking about it all the time. I don't date down. I don't, I want a man that makes 6 figures. They're always trying to date up. And that's just the nature of men and women. Women date up and usually don't want to date down because, we're in a society where women are told, oh, you want a man that's going to, provide and do all these other things and all that other stuff. So my answer to it is men can and usually do date down, because that way we have a thing over a woman's head, let's say, or whatever, and the society's telling us that we're supposed to provide for them, where women date up. They're always trying to get the bigger guy that has more of the money and stuff like that. So that's my answer.
And I will not refute what you said because that's your answer and I can't tell you how to feel, okay? Now, do I feel like people should date their equal? If so, describe your equal. If not, explain. So I think people should date their equal. I'm telling about me, and obviously I'm speaking from past experiences that would have me come to this conclusion. Now, when I say my equal, I'm not necessarily talking about money, because money, you could get plenty of that. You could lose it. It comes and goes, whatever, right? You can build wealth. But I'm talking about as far as intellectually and ideas and things like that, because far too many times I have dated men who are not, and I don't want to say intellectual like I'm smarter than them, but at least to where we can hold a conversation, like you at least check the local news to see what's trending. We can talk about world affairs and ideas. See, I like to discuss ideas, not necessarily people as much. So when I say yes, I think we should be equals. We should at least be going the same direction, be on the same page. And again, as far as I would consider my equal, I like to work out. I am into my physical health and the things that I eat. And so I want to date a man who I don't have to, because I'm the one that cook in a relationship. I love it. It is my pleasure. I want to do that. But I also want to date a man that knows what a goddamn vegetable is. I want to date a man that says, yeah, I probably would like me some fried chicken today, but let me get some baked chicken. Let me get some fish. You know what I mean? I also want to date a man that is cool with exercising, like even if it's just to go on a walk, but that's how it's been most of the time with me. Men don't see the value in exercising. And so, yeah, I want a man to be on the same page. I'm not saying you got to go hard in the paint like I do, because I could be very competitive as far as, working out and stuff. But damn, if I say, honey, would you go on a walk with me? I want to hit like, damn.
The football game's on. Can we go on a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, trust me, I'm one of those, I'm a maniac sometimes. I could walk 4 and 5, 6 miles or whatever if you let me. Hell, and sometimes days I could go 10 miles, that's just me. But I would consider that, okay, you don't want to go walking. Let's go 2 miles. Let's go there and back. So, I'm not asking for much, but I want somebody who is on the same page, right? Know what some spinach is. If I say, honey, would you try this new dish? And I'm not gonna make it nothing nasty. I don't never make them spinach, but that's nasty. I want a man who's mature in his palate, what he wants to eat. I want a man that's mature enough to say, yes, we getting older, hon. Let's go for a walk every day. I want a man to beat me to that. Babe, we going walking today? We need to, we need to be out there. I want somebody to do that. So that's what I mean. Money is cool. Yes, I like you to just have some, at this point, have some. But if I'm cracking open some books, I'm not saying you got to crack over just a bit, but damn, let's have some discussions past the low hanging fruit. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm definitely with being equal in that regards. Okay. Ready for the next question? We got 3 more. And also, other thing, I was talking to my daughter about this the other day. I want a man, and listen, I'm silly as hell. Okay, y'all, anybody know me? No, I'm silly. I like to play around and stuff, not play around like cheap, but I like to play around. I want a man that will play hide and go seek in the house with me. I want a man that would dance with me. I do. Donovan, am I asking for too much?
Yes. No, not at all. But
you would want to be with a woman that play hide and go seek. Like, come on, it's boring. If we even watched all the TV we can watch, okay, we're gonna play hide and go seek. I ain't gonna get it since we together.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Let's play some hide and go get it. That's the difference.
You know what I'm saying? We can play hide and go get it. You know, that would be fun to me. You know, I really want that's stupid. I don't really want to do that. It's like that's what I want, you know. So anyway, moving right along. Okay. Ooh, your partner does not look quite the way they did when you started dating. How do you handle that? You want me to go first, or would you like to go first? Okay. I would handle that in the way and say, listen, honey, because I've actually had to have conversations with other people about their significant others, not about mine. I tend to date dudes who are, you know, fairly in shape, if you will. A shape, I guess. And I would say, I love you, and know that anything I'm saying to you, and I say this to my friends, I love you, and this is coming from a place of love. And so with that being said, you put on a little bit of weight, and I think I don't need to tell you that. So let's go to the gym. And I'm going to do my part since I'm the one that's cooking the food. I'm going to cook more healthier options. I know you want some fried chicken with the smothered gravy and the potato. I know you want the cheese on your broccoli, baby. But I'm going to cook some healthier things. How about a salad? I'll make you a salad with some lean chicken breast. Could you do that for me? Because at the end of the day, honey, I want to grow old with you. I want to be able to sit right up under you as we going on a Sunday drive and we listen to our oldies but goodies with Art LeBeau. I don't want to have to be hoisting your wheelchair up into the car. And so let's grow old gracefully together without as much medication and all the other stuff as possible. Could you do that for me and you? That's how I would handle that.
That's a really good question. Now, you know, me coming out of the military, we have a thing in the military, and those of you guys that have military background, you know what I'm talking about. It's called self-aid and buddy care. You're responsible for the way your buddy, you know, to take care of your buddy and do that, and him the vice versa. So like say we're in combat and somebody gets hurt, that's the guy you're paired up or the female you're paired up with, and you're supposed to take care of it and look out for each other. Same thing in marriage, the way I look at it. So if I see my wife kind of putting on a few pounds and whatever, and I have a lot of friends, older friends that were mentors of mine, they go to the gym together, they do everything together, and they've been together for 30 something years. A lot of them met in college and stuff. I mean, they've been together forever. I'm like, damn, how'd they do it? But they do it because they're looking out for each other. And, you know, you just don't get in a relationship, in a commitmentship, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, some people, you know, it might be, you know, a medical issue, whatever. That's one thing. But we're talking about when you see somebody like doing that, you're supposed to kind of look at my, you know, if I had a wife, look at her and say, honey, you know, you're kind of getting a little, you know, the pouch there, you know, whatever. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get the push-up thing or the sit-up machine and kind of, you know, help her out. But the thing is, fellas, we have a problem of pointing out their flaws and what we don't like because we are visual creatures. But then here we are with the big beer belly and we think there's nothing wrong with us. You know, so it goes both ways. So she's supposed to look out for me and point out the things that, you know, she doesn't like, because let's face it, we are put here to, this is why we get married. You know, hey, I don't want to be with anybody else but you. You don't want to be with anybody else but me. So to do that, what you did to get me is what you got to do to keep me. right? So yeah, we know as we get older, we're going to gain, some weight and some things, but you shouldn't drastically have to completely change your appearance because you're just complacent. So it is prevalent on each of us to monitor each other's appearance. I definitely don't want my wife going out there looking like a clown, in her appearance. So I'm going to say, baby, you don't need to put that on. Oh no, you look good with that or whatever else. You know what I mean? So my answer to that, it's both of them. They both have a job to police each other.
And I also want to say, being transparent. I have been the ones a few times in a relationship that has kind of let myself go. I put on a couple of LBs, and Donovan, I put on some weight or whatever the case is.
Yeah, but when I saw that, I didn't notice that until I saw the pictures. You know what I mean? It's like, when you're with somebody all the time, you don't really notice it. You're like, okay, everything's good.
Yeah, and a lot of that had to do for me moving from one state to the next. Also had for me, at home in California, I would go up mountain all the time, sometimes twice a day, which is how when I said earlier that, and sometimes I could do 10 miles a day. I was very active in working out, walking the block, running. I was, so once I moved, that took away from that because I wasn't familiar with the neighborhoods and just getting acclimated, and plus the pandemic and stuff was going on at the time, not as in motion as it would have been. So I gained, I would say probably like 30 pounds, but it kind of just snuck up on me too. And now I remember when we went to Costa Rica and you was like, damn, what happened? And then once we got back, I remember I said, I'm going to get me a gym membership. I'm about to go get it back in. So that's kind of where that came from. But so I have been the one in the relationship that, let it go. And I don't care what you men say. And that's what I would say about you. Now, I don't mean it like that. I don't care what you mean or what you say. But one thing I hate about sometimes men and women is sometimes we as women, we make it hard for you guys to be honest. And what I mean by that is y'all see that we done put on 30 goddamn pounds. And instead of saying, sugar, y'all say, oh, honey, I don't care if you gain all the weight. I love you just the way you are. Damn well you lying. But I'll put some of the blame on us because we don't make it easy for y'all to operate in the realm of honesty. Because God forbid a man tells that to his wife, baby, I do love you, but I don't love that much of you though. I want you, you know what I mean? Then we go, what you mean? You supposed to take me for better. You better get what's coming out this moo-moo.
Yeah, that's I used to hate that when I was married. My wife would ask me, do I look good in this? What do you think about that? I'd be like, don't ask me.
Because you knew being honest was probably going to cost you something. A good day's peace or whatever it was. And so we need to, as being in relationships, we need to be able to say, oh, that was brutal. He told me I'm fat or I'm getting that way. But you know what? I want to give him what he had, at least close to it when we got together. And that's just going to benefit me too, right? So we need to be able to meet in the middle and say, all right, boo, you're right. I have been pushing him back a little bit, and not pushing away from the table as much. So I'm just being honest. I have been in that situation, but guess what, goddammit? I won't be there no more. I will never, ever be in that situation again.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, and I hate when people, men and women, make the excuses. Diabetes, you can get rid of diabetes by working out. I mean, you could control that, you can change if you gained weight, you can lose the weight and vice versa. Like me, I'm opposite. I had to gain weight because I was, naturally skinny. So, I mean, it's something that's within our control. And I just hate when people have the excuses why they can't do it.
Yeah, it's doable. And I have a thyroid issue, hypothyroidism, where it's hard for me to lose weight. I can gain 5 pounds a week if I don't exercise and I eat terrible. It would not be hard for me to do. So I agree with you. In a lot of cases, it's not an excuse. Okay, moving on. We got 2 more questions. If your significant other presents you with a prenup before your wedding, would you sign it? Why or why not? Let's say you were getting ready to marry Beyonce. Clearly, she's got way more money than you. And she says, hey, Donnie boy, I love you and everything, but I want you to sign this prenup.
I'm going to make a quick and short answer. I would not sign the prenup for the simple fact that I would say, baby, is it okay if my attorney goes over this so that, I know what I'm signing. I'm, like I said, even if it's the day of the wedding, I am not signing a prenup until I have an attorney to do so.
I'm going to say I would sign it. However, I would want to know what was in it, because I am one of those people that think, yeah, if we built something together in that relationship, sure, I want to split that. But I do not believe that either person is entitled, because we don't live in utopia. Let's just keep it real. We don't live in utopia in that, we're going to be together forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Because every relationship I was in, especially my last one, I was like, shit, we going to be together forever. It's do or die, you and I,
Matching shirts, his and hers. Remember those?
All of that. You know what I mean? And so clearly that wasn't the case. So I say all that to say, if you had some, I don't care if you had 2 peanuts and a piece of bubble gum, if you want to keep that when the relationship is over, I think you should be able to keep that. And if I have a little something before we got together, I like to keep that. Now the stuff that we built together, yeah, that then we split in that. You know what I mean? But and let's say you were very wealthy, or you met me and it doesn't work out. No, I don't think as a woman, I'm just saying me as a woman, I don't think I should be able to. I want half of everything he built before we got. I don't think that's fair. So I wouldn't have a problem signing that.
But like I said, there's been plenty of occasions where people are getting married that day, and let's say the athlete or the star wants them to sign right then and there. Let's face it, a lot of these prenups are written in legalese. I'm not saying I wouldn't sign it. I just want a lawyer to go over it, because sometimes you sign those things and you've given up your car, your house that you had before you got, you know what I mean? So, I would tell my significant other, like a good example, like your sister, hey, I just want an attorney to go over it to make sure that, everything is good to go, because I don't understand what you're making me sign here. And, and then think about it. Let's say you do sign it. And we hear a lot of women get raked over the coals because they signed something that they didn't understand because they were in love or whatever. They wanted to get married, whatever. And then come to find out they get pennies on the dollar in regards to what they put into the marriage. And, and I'm going to tell anybody out there, if you're going to do a prenup, there's nothing wrong with prenups. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. But like any legal document, you need to know and understand what you're signing.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. So yeah, I just for the record, I wouldn't have a problem with signing a prenup, especially to protect the things that we both had before the marriage. Now that's not to say that you can't enjoy what I've had. Let's say I, very wealthy, because I will be. That's not to say that I wouldn't want you to partake in that, but I don't want you to take it if we don't end up together forever and ever and ever and ever, ever. You know what I mean? So I don't have a problem with that. I think people also need to take well, if you love me, you wouldn't have me. Nah, boo-boo, because love then got a lot of people taken to the bank. So the other thing is, yes, you can say, if you love me, you wouldn't have me sign this, but I could also flip it around and say, if I love me, I'm going to protect me. And that ain't even got nothing to do with you. That ain't got nothing to do with you, me protecting me. I could love you and protect me and love me at the same time, but I would also be leery of somebody who would put those stipulations on me in that, well, you don't really love me if you had me sign that. It's like, nah, see, now we was doing fine until you put these funky ultimatums on me, because now you're trying to have me forego logic and common sense and let emotion ride in its place. We know that a lot of people, that's why I as I'm getting older and I've been through some things, I don't really like the term I fell in love. Because what happens when you fall? Sometimes you bump your head, you know what I mean? And you lose all sense and sensibility. And so I don't ever want to fall in love again. I want to walk there. I want to get there. I want to be logically in love with you. And that doesn't mean I throw it all to the wind because I'm in love with you. And then you fall out of love with me, because people fall out of love, just like they fall in love. And then you done fell out of love and took all my damn money. And now you fell back in love with somebody else with my money or my mama house or whatever.
Right. And then the only people that win are the lawyers. The only people that win are the lawyers.
Exactly, brother. All right, so here we go. Our last question. How y'all doing out there? I hope y'all doing well. If I didn't already, we ain't live in case you didn't know. So here's the last question. Your significant other develops a serious illness and can no longer perform certain conjugal duties. And you know what those duties are. He or she gives you a free pass to get sex elsewhere. Would you use it? Why or why not?
Okay, absolutely, I would use it, especially if my spouse has given me that permission to do so. Because again, I mean, you know, we're sexual creatures, we're physical creatures here in the earth, and I'm not saying everybody would do that. Some people just won't do it, you know what I mean, because they're, you know, whatever. But just because, you know, let's say my spouse can't do her duties or whatever because of a medical condition. For men, and I'm just speaking from, you know, a man's point of view that I understand of it. Men can have sex and it means nothing in regards to just having a good time. We don't get emotionally attached. Whereas from my understanding, from what I've heard from women that at least our age, I can't talk about the new women, but our age, you know, women back then are when they have sex, there's a little emotion attached to it, because back in the day, you know, you just couldn't, unless you're a sex worker back in the day, it was a woman's not going to have sex with you if she didn't have some kind of emotional tie to you in regards to the action of the sex thing. But men in general, we can have a sexual encounter and it means absolutely nothing. That's why you see a lot of these men out here that might have side chicks that are very successful or mistresses, but they still love their wife. You know, they don't want to leave their wife. It's been statistically proven that in marriages, 70-something% of marriages divorces are initiated by women. The men, even though the men are no good and they ain't cheating, they ain't leaving. They're not leaving. And a good example is, you know, like I had my grandparents continually married, and you know what I'm talking about, Demetra. Back in the day, they just didn't. They might have separated, but they didn't divorce. They just didn't divorce. So if my spouse gave me permission to do that, and that is something that I would want to pursue, yeah, I would go out and do what I need to do to keep my sanity. Because sometimes at one time in prison, they used to have conjugal visits because it was thought that by having the guy have the conjugal visit, it reduces the testosterone in the guy, and he's not as aggressive, because you got to get that energy out and stuff like that. But a lot of prisons have stopped that or whatever. You know, but some still do it, but it's very rare. But yeah, me personally, if I got the go ahead, yeah, I would definitely use that pass. But if I didn't get the go ahead, I would just go ahead and do what I need to do as a devoted and loving husband.
At least you're honest, brother. For me, no, I would not do it, because for one, I think, I know, as a matter of fact, and not that I ever would when I was younger, but I have transcended past just physical being the most important part of the relationship. Because at this point in my life, let's say I had a significant other, and, you know, for whatever reason they can perform, I would say, well, it sucks, or maybe it doesn't, you know, right about now, but I'm more interested in you getting well. I would not want to take that pass and have you stressed out even further, thinking, okay, wow, she really did that, or is she getting attached, and, you know, all of that. So I would say, while I appreciate that, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be here with you. Our relationship is more than just sex. Sex is a physical thing. We hopefully at that point we would have built a emotional and a mental connection to where sex wouldn't even be like, man, I ain't even thinking about that. I'm not thinking about going out there. Like, you're not well. That's the last thing on my mind, is thinking about having somebody hop up and down on me for 2 minutes while you're here like, probably I sprung my pinky, or whatever the case is. And so I you know what I mean? It wouldn't be worth it to me to do that, because I would, even though I got the path to do that, I would consider that a form of betrayal, because it's like, my love and devotion, I didn't say my body, my love and devotion is to you and to your well-being, because I wouldn't give. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. I'll be selfish. You would not be getting such a pass from me. Now, if you go out there and do that, and that's out of my control, but I would not co-sign you going out there sleeping around because you best believe I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna be on the man. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be thinking about damn, well, who is you with? Is you gonna still be with her? Like, nah, you ain't getting no pass, boo. If you get a pass, you're gonna have to steal it when I'm asleep or whatever. But no, I would not take them up.
Right, but let me ask you this: then why offer the pass if you're going to be
offer the pass?
Right. Okay, and I get that, but but like, and that's what I'm saying. Most people wouldn't offer the pass, but there are some. I've seen some relationships where the women just, some women get totally turned off by sex. They're done. They've done their thing, and the husband's just kind of sitting there, kind of like, well, and
I'm gonna tell you this from a woman's point of view. Most of the time when a woman gets turned off from sex, and I'm not saying this is not true about men, but I'm thinking from a woman's point of view, it's because she's not into you no more. She's not into you. You done said something. You done did something.
Right. Years of, cheating on her. She's just done. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I'm going to have a V8, baby. I'm good. So a lot of times that's what it is. And also I would say, and not that I've ever done it, I feel like I just need to clarify that I've never cheated on anybody because I feel good. Who I cheated on? I feel good in being able to say I've never cheated on anybody because I think that's a badge of honor now. It shouldn't be, but it is. I've never cheated on anybody, and so I forgot where I was going with that, but it wouldn't be something that I would be interested in at all. I just something I wouldn't do. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I can say this: when I'm in a committed relationship, I've never cheated either. I've never cheated. But if I'm out there single, doing what I'm doing, I'm just, like most men that do what they do. Hey, have at it.
Yeah. Period. End of discussion. And so anyway, Donovan, how did you like that game?
I think that was a very interesting game. I'm gonna have to come down there and we're gonna have to sit down and play. Deanna's too young to play with us, so
actually, and it's her card game. You see that? But yeah, we can play it when I come. I'm gonna be out there. Are you gonna be around in December?
Yeah, my mom. She should be coming here.
Okay, yeah. So I'll bring it, and we can play. I like card games and stuff. So anyway, y'all.
Wait, and real quick, as you think of card games, that's another thing lacking in our community. We remember used to play Life and Candyland and all those little games like that. I look at young people now, they don't play those games. One of the most important games I remember playing as a young 7-year-old kid was the game of life, because now you see the applications of it as I was an adult. I would always refer back to the game of life. And I think that if we would teach our kids to play these board games a little bit more, they would think strategically long-term versus day to day. I'm just surviving the day. No. Where are you going to be in 5 years from now? And that's what those games used to teach us back in the day. I just wanted to put that out there. We need more of that within our communities.
I'm laughing because my little baby niece, my youngest niece, not my great niece, Fluffy, my daughter and her siblings were playing. I think she was probably like maybe 6 or 7 at the time. They're playing the game, and she had to get her husband. She had to get her husband, and she's like, I'm not playing no more. And I was like,
already tainted at 7 years old.
She said, I don't like this game. I don't want to play no more. I was like, out of the miles. She was dead serious. I'm not playing no more. I got to get a what?
But isn't that cute? Because it where she's at today is the applications of the life game. It's like, okay, now it's time to get a husband. Now, hell no.
She was dead serious. Like, what? I don't want one of those. I ain't playing no more. I'm like, damn. Why I didn't get the same notion when I was 7 playing this damn game. So anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much for being here playing. Me and Donovan are going to do this more often. I'm trying to bring y'all more topics like this because, I feel like it's important for us to discuss relationship issues so that we could be better in them when, in fact, we are lucky enough to get in one again. So anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much. We'll be back here with Wealth Wednesdays with Walter tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time. And then again, Donovan and I will be back here on Sunday. If you guys would, please like and subscribe to this channel. There's a Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, or become a member, and all of that. Any little thing that you do help, and we love and appreciate you for that. So we will see y'all around. Y'all have a great day. Peace.